Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's my good self here, Lady Julia, and I'm with one notoriously blessed gentleman, um, Reginald Addy, here with me to do you justice till from now till 10 a.m. And it's still the AM Ghana show. You heard the news earlier on brought to you by Jonathan, and we're here to continue with the newspaper headlines and more. So do stay tuned. But before we go on a quick commercial break, Reginald, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing very well, Julia. I am notoriously blessed and highly favored this morning. A very good morning to our cherished viewers, and indeed, welcome to AM Ghana. This is where we give you information and also have discussions on issues pertaining our country in terms of governance, social aspects, religious aspects, and even in areas that you haven't even fathomed. Well, these and more will be serving you today on AM Ghana. A very good morning to you once again. It is Thursday, the 4th day of November, and we're asking you, how far have you achieved all of those New Year's resolutions that you put before you somewhere December 2020? Fascinating how fast 2021 has come to pass. I don't know. Well, speed is quite a relative unless there is a measure on how fast we are going, and this speed that we have gone through the year, of course, we cannot measure in kilometers per hour or what have you, but we are asking, how well have you achieved these resolutions that you put before you? I'm asking because His Excellency the Vice President, Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia, to some extent believes that he has achieved the digitalization agenda, and we'll be speaking on that this morning as well. We'll also be taking you through some nutritious benefits and all the things that you need to know about having a sip of, is it Kangen water? Kangen water. Well, I'm sure you're lost right now, but well, trust me, when we get there, we'll break all of it down, and you would definitely grab the understanding. Honorable Francis Xavier Susu is still on that banter with the Ghana Police Service, and we're asking, is Parliament, totally against following or abiding by the rule of law? Well, the lawmakers and the rule of law will be discussing as well when we get to the newspaper review segment. Well, until then, I want to share with you that in many times we feel as though life has singled us out of the many to meet us with harsh problems, with harsh situations. But you see, no matter your problem, somebody's problem has compounded from birth, even from their forefathers' time, and they're still dealing with it. And if you listen to most songs today, it tells you that problem no they finish. Problem no they finish. So, well, just get up and get yourself into that mood, cheer yourself up, go out there and get yourself achieving. Because if you don't do it now, today, there may never be a tomorrow for you to do all the things that you have wanted to do. Let me say a big congratulations to my very own director, Salben Selassie, who is now doubling as the deputy director effective Monday. Next week, Monday, right here at Adoatv. Very big congratulations to you, and big congratulations to Mrs. Nto Anastasia, who would be producing AM Ghana. We're hoping to see new dimensions, and to Reginald Robinson as well, who would be sitting in as director, taking charge from Salben Selassie for AM Ghana. We're hoping to take you on a new dimension and drive you into new spheres and bring you new and, well, everything exciting, everything anew, everything renewed. And I'll always do this with my very own sweethearts on AM Ghana, Juliana Ijoma. Yes, we beef a lot on set, but after all of this is all love, joy, and laughter. Princess, would you tell them? Yes, that's what I call you, Princess. Well, it's all about joy and happiness over here.
Michael Jackson come through speechless. I'm speechless.
I wish I had that voice. I would have sung for you, but unfortunately,
Yeah.
I don't want to scare our cherished viewers away from their stairs. But please do stay tuned to your TV sets this morning with us. Remember, we are streaming live on Facebook at Adoatv Ghana. You can always join us, and the conversation is always interactive, so you can share your thoughts with us. Come on board, let's have the conversations. I've already taken you through the conversations that we'll be having today, so cheer yourself up and don't send the messages that are out of the discussion, because reading them will not make any relevance to the topic that we are discussing. We want to add a relevance, and we can do this when you join in by listening and contributing. Don't go anywhere. My name is Reginald Addy, and I'll join you right back with Ijoma Juliana. Do stay tuned.
FD ahwehwɛ saa ejadie nkrato yi mu agye atomu sɛ ɛyɛ.
Welcome aboard the safest airline in Africa. With industry-leading safety measures to protect your well-being. The first in Africa to earn a diamond standard of safety. Offering a more contactless, safe, and seamless experience. Delivered with a smile by Africa's first fully vaccinated crew. Creating special memories that bring the joy back to flying, so you can continue making memories with your loved ones. Book your flight with RwandAir today. RwandAir, the safest airline in Africa.
RwandAir, fly the dream of Africa.
Announcements on Adoatv. Contact Adoatv for your general announcements, proclamations and publications, job vacancies, etc. at a very affordable rate. Call 050-92-57754, 020-9494-258, or visit our marketing desk at Stepwork premises. Adoatv, bringing good things to life.
Many thanks to you for staying with us. My name is Reginald Addy. You're definitely watching AM Ghana here on Adoatv Television, and I'm here with my very good friend, my very own sweetheart. It's always good seeing her waking up. What are you saying?
I said, why today? Where did I sleep?
Yeah, so you slept on the right side of your bed, which is why you're becoming my sweetheart on AM Ghana lately. Together, we're going to take you through the proposed topics for the day, and obviously, right about now, we're about to take you through the newspapers, and I'll begin with the Daily Graphic as usual. Now, let's see what it says here on page 16. Interesting. Exercise to halt Aboboya operations on motorway begins. And I remember speaking to a former legislator, Honorable George Law, former member of parliament for the South Day, and he asked some questions that upon which legislation were upon which laws were these Aboboya operators or drivers going to be prosecuted once arrested. But interestingly, yesterday on the motorway, there were some arrests. And so, whether you like it or not, it seems that this very directive by Honorable Henry Kwati is in full-fledged, and it would be only advisable that Aboboya operators and motorists would be careful. We saw some of them trying to outwit the police. We also heard some of them pleading, admitting that they were wrong. And so, well, let's see how it goes from there on. The story is on page 16 of the Daily Graphic. If you will grab a copy for yourself, you will get into the details. Stop Galamsey at Achim Akokwaso. That's a story on page 16. Again, the youth of the town, Achim Akokwaso, are demanding. And interestingly, yesterday, Stone Boy, aka Beam Nation Guard, one guard, has come out with a song, a campaign song to help fight Galamsey. And I think that that is just a positive way of using one's influence. Form partnerships to deepen a digital economy. The story is on page 20, says the vice president. Form partnerships to deepen digital economy. That's from the very digital gentleman, His Excellency Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. The big story here: improving revenue performance, expand tax coverage. Dr. Ali Nkitia tells government at Graphic Stanbic Forum, expand tax coverage. And over the years, this has been a sound headline that usually encompasses taxation forums or forums that are held about monetization, taxation, and what have you. Even government policies and manifestos have indicated an expansion or widening of the tax net, and I think that this is an advice in the right direction. At the back page of the Daily Graphic, JICA, that is Japan International Cooperation Agency, supports MOH, the Ministry of Health, with equipment. And we have a picture of Mr. Araki Yasumichi, Chief Representative of JICA Ghana office, representing the equipment to Dr. Patrick Kuma Abuaji, Director General of Ghana Health Service. Well, I don't know what is in that package, but it looks like a well, I certainly cannot describe it. It looks like what it looks like. Grab a copy of the Daily Graphic and read into it and find out what it is. Make prostate cancer treatment affordable. And I'm saying this shouldn't be only about prostate cancer, but as well for all life-threatening diseases as well. Let's make health accessibility feasible and affordable for all Guineans. Now, let me quickly peep into the center spread of the Daily Graphic because it is quite hefty as usual. Judicial Council sensitized to national security strategy. Judicial Council sensitized to national security strategy. And it's actually a 30 seconds read, a quick one, not necessarily. So the 30 seconds read is just an inlet or insert. It says that members of the Judicial Council have been sensitized to the new national security strategy document. Okay. Another story here: government initiates program to reduce emissions in cocoa share sectors. And another one here about 34% deaths attributable to non-communicable diseases, says the Ghana Health Service. And we'll call that a sum for the Daily Graphic. Grab a copy for yourself. It's only 3 cedis, and read into the stories.
Okay, so with that on the Daily Graphic, we move straight into the Daily Guide. What does the Daily Guide have for us? It says, police grabs Sosu by criminal sermons. Police grab Sosu by criminal sermons. And we have a picture of the Honorable Member of Parliament. The Ghana Police Service has secured criminal sermons from court to facilitate the arrest of the National Democratic Congress MP for Medina, Francis Xavier Sosu, who has been evading arrest. There's more on that continued on page 3. The Director General of the Public Affairs Department of the Ghana Police Service ACP Kwesi Ofori said yesterday that following the sermons, the police are charging the MP for obstruction of public way, causing damage to other road users and unlawful damage. The police lead spokesperson said the MP is expected to appear in court on November 8th. That's just this Monday. So it seems this case is no way dying this week. There will be more. And I'm sure Monday will bring a different twist to it. So stay tuned for more of that story. But for today's updates, grab a copy of the Daily Guide, and that story is on page 3. Again, we have Cabinet approves a new wildlife resource management bill. Cabinet approves new wildlife resource management bill. Again, the story is on page 3, and we have a picture of Honorable Abu Jinapo right there. But the story that grabs my attention there is 2 NDC MPs are jokers. 2 NDC MPs are jokers, and it's coming from Sam Okujeto, and the story is on page 6. So I just want to delve into that a little bit. He says, the veteran legal practitioner and a former president of the Ghana Bar Association, GBA, Sam Okujeto, says the private members bill filed by the 2 opposition National Democratic Congress, NDC MPs, seeking to remove the Chief Justice from the General Legal Council regarding law school admissions is a big joke and must not be entertained. Roxanne Nelson Eche, I hope I have that right, Eche K. Dafiamakpo of South Dai and Francis Xavier Kojo Sosu of Medina have jointly written to request the Legislative Drafting Office of Parliament to draft for subsequent submission to the Speaker a bill to amend the Legal Profession Act 1960. They want to push for a change in the composition of the General Legal Council that will provide for reforms for legal education in the country. And there's more on that story, of course. And I said earlier that it's on page 6. So we see bits and pieces of Francis Xavier virtually everywhere. This is one story he is involved in as well, of which Francis
has been very instrumental, or should I say vociferous, right from the onset of the eve of swearing in of members of parliament into office, early in the year. And in fact, we saw him in there challenging members of the opposition, and I was like, indeed, this is the member of parliament to look out for. And I'm saying that because he is a first timer. He's a first time legislator. And he's playing all of these. He has been almost always on the front. He was in there when the National Democratic Congress was also battling out their case with the EC at court. He was also in there, very vociferous as well. And he's continued right from there. He's almost everywhere. And I am thinking that he is becoming an example to other first-time legislators as well. That a first time is not excuse enough, to lag behind and lazy about.
Silent and just watch.
Exactly, and say that you're now. Well, it is quite cumbersome, especially if you are not into the law field or the lawmaking field to understand some of the procedures. He is fortunate enough to be a lawyer, and so he finds himself to be on quite common grounds. There are businessmen in there as well who are not too familiar with some of the processes.
But before you take up this, I think you have to buckle your seatbelt.
Exactly.
Whatever you need to learn, I mean, if it's just a little here, a little there, you have to. And for what concerns your community as well, you have to really sit up.
Certainly.
Yeah.
So his
people will be proud.
I think so. I think so.
They
Well,
should be.
sometimes as well. Let's also not mistaken, you know, being in the
Being
open,
very
being in the open as being, you know, effective. Let's also
Okay,
not
let's
mistake
leave it
that.
out. But I think that if for nothing at all, I want to see the MP that I voted for my area active on certain issues. I want to see that person in Parliament at least stand up for something. That maybe in Parliament, maybe that person's seat is always vacant, or even if they are present at all, they are absent-minded, they are fumbling with their phone or talking to somebody at the back, or the worst, sleeping. Okay, with that said, we go on to the last story that makes the front page of Finso deadly accident. Unfortunately, this comes up again because the death toll is on the rise. We are told that 3 more people have added to the number, and there's a picture there of a mass grave. I'm told 16 out of the 17 people here were Muslims, and so they had to do their burial, you know, quickly. But as of this morning, 3 more people have been added to that number. So we have 20 as the death toll now. Rather unfortunately, then we pray for speedy recovery for all those that are injured. And also we pray for the families of those that have passed on. We ask for condolences, and we ask for healing of their, is it pain or their heart?
If you need healing, then you're sort of
Yes.
some form of pain there.
I don't know what can be done in these cases to ever help someone who has lost a loved one so tragically. I don't know what we can ever do or what the right words even are to say. When it comes to such things, I usually
You can only try to manage the right words to say, because at that point, that is all a person needs. And sometimes, you know, some reassurance that, you know, we are all there for them as well. So our condolences to the bereaved families, and we pray that the lost souls rest in peace.
Rest in peace. That's good. Then on the back page of the Daily Guide, Milo or Milo, whichever way. I don't like saying Milo because immediately that thing comes to my mind. A hot cup. Yeah. So Milo names Black Stars squad today. I thought there would be a time for it. Okay, there's no time here, but yeah, the story is here on the back page of the Daily Guide. Emery rejects Newcastle. Emery rejects Newcastle. Xavi also begins Barca job after international break. And we have Getafe, La Liga, others collaborate to support children's home. Is that in Ghana? Hey, yes, so okay, that's good. That's good to support children's home. We need more collaborations like that. I'm going to build a children's home very soon.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so that said is our wrap up for the Daily Guide.
Well, we wish you all the best in your children's home. I'm praying that when you do that, I'd have resources enough to also come and support. Now, let's go on to the New Crusading Guide. NPA boss engages stakeholders in Koforidua. The story is on page 7 of the New Crusading Guide. NLA hands prestige and looks money raw deal. Elsewhere, Maslock supports Oda market fire victims with 1 million Ghana cedis. See how these things are costing the state. Maslock supports Oda fire market victims with 1 million Ghana cedis. Dr. Baumia pressing NDC to steady digital economy. Razak Kojo indicates here.
That
now,
laughter was too mischievous.
there's no mischief in there, I beg you. I beg of you. I beg of you. Now, the big story here, police drag Medina Member of Parliament to court. The story is from pages 3 and 10 of the New Crusading Guide. And this is what the front page of the New Crusading Guide looks like. The back page has obituary, may her soul rest in peace. Penultimate page, Sports Crusade, they always call it. Ex-FIFA president Blatter and ex-UEFA boss Platini charged with fraud. Can we ever separate fraud and corruption from football? Well, maybe the sports guys should come and tell us something about that. Now, another one here, Ethiopia Football Federation reveals why they host Ghana in South Africa. I am targeting top four. Anna Walker indicates. And that's basically a sum for the New Crusading Guide. Other interesting stories here and a continuation of the stories from the front page of the New Crusading Guide. Grab a copy for yourself and read the stories.
All right. The Daily Statesman also has this for you this morning. Scholarships Secretariat Civil Service sign MOU to train workforce. Yes, you got that right, and that story is on page 3. The Ghana Scholarships Secretariat and the Office of the Head of Civil Service yesterday signed a Memorandum of Understanding to help enhance the capacity of civil servants. So, civil servants, this particular story is for you. So grab a copy, jump straight to page 3, and it's the second story there. So it's below the first one right there. The agreement of strategic a strategic directive of the Vice President Mahamadou Bawumia forms part of efforts to strengthen institutions in Ghana. Signing the agreement on behalf of the Scholarships Secretariat, the Registrar, Mr. Kingsley Ajiman, said, based on the directive, Dr. Bawumia, the Secretariat, there's something wrong. Based on the directive of Dr. Bawumia, the Secretariat signed the Memorandum of Understanding to help ensure the training of Ghanaian workforce. Okay, there's more to it, more and more and more. And there's a picture of the two exchanging pleasantries, or is that a document? Okay, I think so. Right there. We want curfew at Pram Pram. I've never seen people demanding for curfew like this, but we want curfew at Pram Pram. Chief Petitions President and the IGP. As for IGP, okay, I'm sure he will respond to this. Okay, so he will respond.
Okay, the IGP
yes,
himself. Okay.
Yes, I'm very sure he will respond to this. Collaborate more for Ghana's growth. VIP urges stakeholders in the finance sector. And it's also on page 2. Cabinet OK's new Wildlife Resources Management Bill. And we have the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Honorable Jinapo, right there. His picture, I think this picture is very good than what I've seen previously. So that's it for the front page, and I'm jumping on to sports again. We have a story from Emery here. Newcastle United target rules himself out, saying he's 100% committed to Villarreal. He's 100% committed to Villarreal. In other words, money will not buy me out. Okay, so on Euro 2020, England fan jailed over racist rant. I love seeing things like this. Yes, he's been jailed. Serves him right. And that's how I wrap up for the Daily Statesman.
Let's move. Let's move away. I'm not commenting on that. Now, Ghanaian Times, the most authoritative newspaper here, and it says about COP26, Ghana signs onto a leaf coalition at climate change confab in Glasgow. Stories on page 15 of the Ghanaian Times. Now, Ghana Business Awards honors 65 individuals and companies. Stories on page 18 of the Ghanaian Times. Now, the big story here: Ghana at 50 monuments. Ghana at 50 monuments. Koforidua Jubilee Park in ruins. Stories on page 16. As the Koforidua Jubilee Park in ruins and now has become a home to lunatics, stray animals, smokers, miscreants, etc., etc. Well, interesting. You should see a picture of what the Ghana at 50 monument, the Jubilee Park, looks like. Very, very much abandoned, and I'm wondering the last time any form of national gathering event was held over there. It has now become home to lunatics, stray animals, smokers, and miscreants. It's a sad one. Let's go into the back page of the Ghanaian Times. GHS targets 6.5 million school-age children to deworm this month. I don't know how often, Juliana, deworms.
Every 3 months.
That is what health professionals say. But
No, I
what you
actually do
do
it
is what I'm trying to
because
find
my
out.
father is like
Okay.
strict.
Kateko inaugurates new WB6 unit classroom. A 6-unit classroom block has been inaugurated for use at the Kanishi Senior High Technical School in Accra, in the Greater Accra region. Funded by the World Bank, the project is part of the Secondary Education Improvement Program, SEIP, if you want, SEEP, which was undertaking facility upgrades in 75 schools across the country. So for Mr. Adoatv Lamte and the rest, your alma mater now has a new 6-unit classroom block, and we believe that this is going to help augment the phase of education and the impact on the students in there as well. So even with less classroom block units, we've seen how head of the technical department, if I'm not wrong, that his alma mater Kateko is doing and has done well. Now let's go and peep at a story in the center spread. Government plans to ensure available and affordable internet service to all, says the vice president. So we have details of the Ghana 50 monument story in here. If you grab a copy for yourself, you would read into it. Cabinet approves new wildlife resources management bill 2021. This is actually on the front page of the Ghanaian Times, which I skipped accidentally. It's on page 17, where I picked from. Cabinet approves new wildlife resources management bill 2021. Now, about that aspect of government's plan to ensure available and affordable internet services to all, yes, as it stands now, the government will now be owning its second telco in the country, with a completion of owning 100% share in Airtel Tigo as it stands now. So yes, with the purchase or the indication of an imminent purchase of Airtel Tigo 6 months ago by Minister of Communication Honorable Ursula Owusu, government has now completed that purchase by now owning 100% share, including all of assets, customers, and liabilities of Airtel Tigo. Now we are hoping that this will be transformed into a whole new telco to provide more than 3.5G or 3.75G network coverage to Ghanaians, because as we have it, the first network, government network, the Vodafone, purports to have a 4G coverage. Now I wonder what band of 4G, maybe a 2.4 gigahertz band of 4G, because I doubt, and I started to think that it is a 5 gigahertz. Well, maybe when we get now we are all speaking, digitalization. So allow me speak a bit more into
I'm not infringing
technology.
on your rights.
Very well. I'm just hoping, that all of these will go in to serve a better purpose.
Yes.
Because we've seen, the nature and manner of network coverage, where people have to stand on trees. People have to go on top of mountains, like Muhammad did, when he was calling for prayer, amongst other things. We pray and hope for the best.
We do hope for the best. And the Umkhonto Wesizwe, the Chronicle newspaper, has this for you this morning. Bagbane admits, yes, police can arrest MPs. Police can arrest MPs. And I'm going to read a little on that. But first, I want to show you a picture of Alan Bagbane. But what is interesting is the picture of Dampare and his pose. I don't know if it's an answer to
This is more like my pose, I'm
yeah. You like to always dampen my spirits on that. But
how does that dampen your spirits?
I was talking about
You are being very
Damparin.
unfair to me.
On
You're
page
being very
3, let's
unfair to me.
continue that particular story on
It's
page
fine.
3. As the Ghana Police Service plans to seek interpretation of Article 117 of the 1992 Constitution. I've given this guy, it's like every day I give him something to jolly about. Anyway, which deals with the immunity from arrest and court processes against members of Parliament. The Speaker of the House, Mr. Alan, can we call him Mr. Yes, okay. Shouldn't there be an honorable or something attached to it?
I don't want to dampen your spirits, my dear.
Oh, I'm asking you, so that's just you answering
I
a
sincerely
question.
do not want to dampen your spirit. So let's get down with the newspaper headlines.
Yeah, this is the love affair.
In all humility.
Of all that he preached this morning, don't worry, we'll continue.
You know,
yes,
love is supposed to free you. I don't want to dampen your spirit. So let me just free you. Cause all your blunders in the newspapers if you want to. Read all the headlines. You are freed.
Okay, so I continue. The Speaker of the House, Mr. Alban S.K. Bagbeng, has made it clear that MPs are not, and I repeat, MPs are not above the law. According to the Speaker, MPs can be investigated and arrested, but constitutional processes for making such arrests must be followed. He had more to say, a lot more than what I've given to you. So please do go for the Chronicle newspaper. Danger, and this alarmed me as well when I saw this morning. Danger, houses built on ECG underground cables in Tema. Who does that? And where can this be done except in Ghana? Houses built on ECG underground cables in Tema. And there's a picture of Christopher Apau, South Tema District Engineer, speaking at the Tema Assembly. I don't know how. Aren't they supposed to create a foundation or something before building? So did they not? Oh, you should see. I'm going to take the notoriously blessed away if you don't change this attitude.
I haven't said anything. I'm smiling at you. You don't like smiles. You don't like smiles.
Actually, I know you too well to know how mischievous.
I can't smile at my own sweetheart. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
But I think yes. Obviously, you don't have to be a technical or an engineer to know that buildings thrive on foundation. And so I don't know where this.
When they were digging, didn't they encounter, or it's deeper than?
I sincerely have no idea. You see, this also accounts, or perhaps goes into the account of engineering that we practice in the country. And engineering, when you mention engineering, then you're also looking at planning, town planning, construction, situation, site development, a whole lot. It's like we don't consider certain things, or we just get up and like.
So this is not just about the one who built or the one who bought the land. It involves all these people. All these people have to be checked. That's what it means.
Exactly.
And it's sad. Hey.
If we had a mapping as to how cables are laid in the country, then probably these mappings will be submitted to the next appropriate authority so that they would indicate which lands can be ventured, can be tempered with, and which ones should be left.
I know there are such things at I did do my national service at the Ga East Municipal Assembly, so yes, I know there is a very big, when you go to what name do we even give to them? I forgot it.
File room.
No. Those who check on the lands, where you can build and where. So they usually, like for Ga East, there's a big plan there.
The ones we call surveyors.
Yes, I think.
Okay.
Yes, them. That way. So they do have, where you are supposed. That's how come they are able to go and then they mark your house and say they're supposed to be a road or they're supposed to be a waterway. But the issue is,
they really functional? Because we always have people building on waterways.
That is
we have people
question.
filling, banks of rivers or waterways to construct their own. And so I'm
Yes.
asking you, you have been there, are they really working?
That is the question. It means that's why you brought up these ones, the engineers and all. I'm saying they all have to be held accountable because they must. And they do. I'm very sure they do. They do know. They are aware. So what were they doing when the house was being built?
They usually wait for the worst to happen before, they come in with a remedy. And then you will hear like Maslock has gone to donate 1 million Ghana cedis to victims of what did we put in place to ensure that the fire wasn't going to break out in the first place. The Ghana National Fire Service is supposed to ensure that buildings abide by fire safety protocols, market centers, amongst other things. But we wait for the worst to happen and then we come and give relief.
I don't want to think far on this particular issue. That what would be the worst case scenario? Somebody in this house and it has rained and something has started. It seems we enjoy saying victims, 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 but we need to move away from such things. We need to surge ahead. This is nothing good to have on our front page at all. Witness mooted idea to stage coup. We have a picture of them there. Dr. McPalm and one other suspect. Dr. McPalm and one other suspect. Ebo Kwanzaa attends lecture and encounters the next president. Ebo Kwanzaa attends lecture and encounters the next president. Hey, what's that supposed to mean? Well, your guess is as good as mine. That's why you need
May not necessarily be president of the nation.
Yes, so that's why they need to grab the copy of the Chronicle. I like the way the Chronicle, and I'm helping you do that, eh? Okay, so the back page, today's Europa League fixtures and previews. So pictures of some of your favorites right there, Western players, Dakar, and all that. So for today, Group A, we have Lyon. I'll just say the ones I know so that you are not offended. So Lyon and Sparta at 5:45. Okay, Real Sociedad is there. Is this Sociedad or what? Okay.
Soledad.
Soledad is a song. Okay, so Bayern is there. Bayern Leverkusen is there at 8 o'clock today.
All right, let me cut you in today as well. Whilst you are on the Chronicle, just as I did to you on Tuesday, because we're going to speak to Osei Kwame Griffiths.
Okay.
He is with the IT department of the National Democratic Congress. He's actually the director of IT at the NDC. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
How are you doing this morning, Mr. Griffiths?
I'm doing very well. I hope you are well too.
Well, I'm very well, and I'm trying to get my understanding into digitalization and all that there is. When you had the vice president deliver the speech on the digitalization of the economy, what came into your mind? What thoughts were running into your head?
Well, actually, it was not until that night that a journalist sent me the write-up.
Okay.
So I started reading somewhere around 1 a.m. I got up to read.
Wow.
And let me say that I was a bit surprised that by some of the claims that he was making. And I thought that whoever had done that speech for him had done him a great disservice. So it wasn't the best.
What were some of those issues that you identified? You're a director of IT. You would probably help us understand these things better.
Okay, first of all, one of the main things that a kind of highlighted is the fact that the Ghana card has become an electronic passport. Or let me say the claim that it has become an electronic passport through our engagement with ICAO, which is International Civil Association Organization. And it is going to be used for travel in 197 countries in the world. ICAO defines what an e-passport is through their standard called ICAO Standard 9303.
Yes.
To be a booklet.
Yes.
A booklet with a chip in it. And it has an information page which has a photo, full name, nationality, date of birth, place of birth, sex, issue, and expiration date. The chip contains this same information, but additionally, it also has the biometric features of the photo. Now, for you to say a plastic card has become an electronic passport and is going to more or less substitute passports in 197 countries, is totally false. The other thing also is that there's a document called, a travel document called a passport card, which is a plastic with a chip with the ICAO information in it. So if you are saying you have put a chip in a Ghana card with ICAO information in it, then it makes it a passport card.
Yes.
But if you look at the passport card, after I speak to you now, no nation on earth accepts the passport card for travel, for air travel.
Right.
No nation, including Ghana.
Well, however, can we establish that the booklet, however, is being accepted in some countries?
The booklet is accepted in all countries.
Okay.
The booklet.
Yes.
That is the e-passport.
Yes.
That's the accepted mode of travel.
Very well. Very
well. Now, the passport card, which the Ghana card has become, it's not accepted for air travel in all countries in the world. When it comes to sea and land travel, only 20 countries in the world accept it. And that is Canada, Mexico, Bermuda, and 17 islands in the Caribbean.
Right.
So for you to say that your Ghana card, which has become a passport card, is now acceptable in all countries, but as a substitute to passport, is false. It's false. It shouldn't be said by somebody in the caliber of a vice president. Well.
Before we continue, you have indicated the standardization and what ICAO describes as a booklet. I beg your pardon. A digital passport, which is the booklet, debunking what the e-card could be as a passport. But you didn't give us perhaps insight into considerations by ICAO if perhaps there is a clause that indicates that the e-passport could be a futuristic provision, perhaps indicating that the vice president is thinking more futuristic.
No, there's nothing like that. I've read the entire document many times.
Okay.
ICAO 9303 is one of the standards that is considered when you are developing a biometric system.
Yes.
And I was very instrumental in the design of the current biometric system that is being implemented.
Okay.
I was a technical lead. And I served that time as an editor of biometrics and security. So I have read that document and I'm familiar with all the changes that have occurred. An e-passport is not, there's no point where they are envisaging that it will become a card.
Right.
So they are not looking at it that way.
Right.
And because the card is deficient in the fact that it doesn't have pages.
Okay.
You to stamp exit and entry, put exit and entry stamp. It doesn't have pages for you to put your visas in it. You understand? And the infrastructure to read all these things electronically does not exist in even 10% of the world.
Okay.
ICAO 9303 specifies that it should be a booklet and by standard should have 28 pages. And if you are a frequent traveler, you are allowed to have 52 pages. All these things are defined in the document.
Yes, sir. Mr. Griffiths, now let's stay on that matter a bit longer because a majority of the public seem to be confused about especially the concerns being raised by the opposition currently. Now, if you follow ICAO again, you realize that they have indicated that the booklet, which is the standard, there are provisions for machines or computers to read the bio page as well as the stampings, amongst other things, the visas, and keep them in a database. Wouldn't it be more feasible if perhaps these stamps, if a device can read them on a booklet, would it be more feasible to at least have an electronic stamp whatsoever
exactly.
on the cards?
No, it's not. You see, all these things are based on what exists. I'll give you an example. Designing the national database, one of the things that I was very passionate about was to have a dual interface card, and I'll explain what it means.
Right.
Most of the modern cards, smart cards that come are contactless. You don't see any chip on it.
Yes.
Good. So the companies that came were emphasized, including the one that actually implemented this particular system, were insisting that we should do contactless. But there's another one that is has both the contactless but still has a chip on it.
Yes.
I insisted on the chip because we wanted to have this financial inclusion that Dr. Bawumia is talking about. And to be able to do that, we needed, because most of the bank ATMs were running systems where you insert the card with a chip showing.
Yeah.
You understand? So to be able to take advantage of electronic wallets, where people can insert the card and take money from their bank.
Yes.
We needed to go with the dual interface that has also the chip showing. At the same time, the contactless card, which works when you take it within some close proximity to a reader, is very good for e-gates, auto gates, and what have you at airports and other places. So in order to have both, we insisted on the chip being on it and at the same time being contactless.
Very well.
You understand? Very good. Your definition of the document that has to be used around the world is based on the infrastructure that currently exists.
Okay.
And I'm telling you that there's no infrastructure that allows you, the embassies, to stamp electronic visas.
Okay.
Because if they do that, it becomes an issue because the security features become problematic.
I see. So it's about security. Now, in the same vein, are we saying absolutely that futuristically there wouldn't be any such improvement or infrastructure that would, amalgamate the booklets into one solid card, whether with a chip or an NFC tag?
Well, I'm not going to be able to say emphatically that in the future, maybe 20 years, 30 years from now,
right,
something like this it's not possible.
Right.
But you see, that would be some very far future.
Okay.
Because it will mean a lot of changes would have to occur. You understand? For that to be possible.
Right.
It means embassies would have to build the necessary IT infrastructure to allow something with the needed security. Look at all the hacking and what have you that is the ransomware and what have you that is happening around the world. So they are reluctant to move that step for that reason. You remember in hitherto, you could have somebody go for a visa and then with his passport and they change the photo to another person and the person travels. All these things have been cured with some security features that have been built both into the passport and into the visas that have been issued.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
And to make it electronic, purely electronic, lends itself to, it being manipulated electronically.
Okay.
Which could be, I'm not saying it, could be easier, even easier than the paper one.
Right. Right. Okay, so before I came in with the follow-ups, you were jumping onto a second point. If you'll quickly go on to that, because I have a few more questions.
You mean a second point on... let me also explain to you what has been achieved, just to give some credit to the NIA.
Okay.
What has been achieved is that when you go to, let's say you are a Ghanaian, traveling from Russia to Ghana, or from the US to Ghana, and you are holding a US passport, right?
Yes.
You go to the airport. If you don't have a visa, they will not allow you to board a plane to Ghana.
I see.
And the reason why they won't allow you is that they have no document proving that you are Ghanaian.
Ghanaian.
Okay.
So one of the things that exists within their sales system is the dual interface card, which is a paper card.
Okay.
So if you show the dual interface card, the dual citizen card,
Yes.
the green dual citizen card,
Mm-hmm.
they allow you to board a plane to Ghana. So that is some form of way of identifying you as a Ghanaian.
All right.
And you can board without a visa. The Ghana card has been added to such documents so that when you show the Ghana card together with the passport,
yes.
Let me emphasize that, together with the passport, because it's not a substitute for a passport.
Okay.
Together with the passport, when they see the Ghana card, it recognizes you as a Ghanaian, and it has nothing to do with the archaeo chip or the fact that it's electronic, because even the paper dual interface card plays that role equally.
All right. Very well. Now, let's go back to some of these concerns. It appears as though the opposition is in direct, as I mean, the position suggests opposition to many of the pronouncements and even future plans that the Vice President mentioned. Are these in direct opposition to some digital policies that the NDC might have wanted to embark on earlier or perhaps into the future? Do you have a better, a policy to present to Ghanaians in terms of digitalization?
Okay, let me first of all look at this digitization and how it started, and so that we can put certain things in the right perspective.
Okay.
When we took over from President Kufuor, now they had embarked on a National Administration Authority as a backbone to digitalization of the nation.
Right.
And there was an issue that we were confronted with. The NIA was set up in such a way that it will provide biometric and identity information for all institutions in government and the private sector. However, other institutions like NIA, DBLA, what have you, were building their own cards, issuing their own cards, building their own biometric systems. And biometric systems are not cheap. So, when we confronted them, they indicated that their data needs were not being met by the national identification system as it existed.
Okay.
Which was the case. And we had then actually authored a paper, which was led by myself, to actually look at how to put the national ID as upgrade it to a point where it will make it unnecessary to buy all these multiple biometric systems. And it included upgrading from 4 fingers to all 10 fingers, which was the norm.
Yes.
It included picking critical data information that the critical data needs of state institutions. Even phone numbers were not being picked at that time. So what happened was the last 80 biometric system that was bought was this. Then former President John Mahama, through the chief of staff, issued a moratorium on the procurement of APCs in all MMDAs. That all state institutions should procure an additional APC. And then also sent a policy direction to NIA to embark on a rapid expansion and upgrade that will allow the user agencies to all phase out their biometric systems. That would mean we should upgrade, and that would mean we should integrate with all these other institutions.
Right.
And I want to confidently tell you that as at the time we were leaving office, we have completed all these things. In fact, the system that issued the card for President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo in September of 2017, the current administration didn't add even a pen drive to it. That system was built, and the factory acceptance, that is, well, if you give a factory a job to do, where you go there and you check all the systems and accept the system, that factory acceptance occurred in December of 2016 before we left office.
Okay.
So for the vice president to make it sound as if all of a sudden they have come to save this nation and have implemented all these systems that have led to this digitization, they have rather implemented the system that we left for them.
They have misimplemented.
Yes. And I can explain to you why I mean that. First of all,
Right. Kindly throw more light on that.
Yes, the system was supposed to be an instant issuance system because there are several challenges with registration and coming back to issue cards. However, that instant issuance aspect didn't go too well, and we all know that. A lot of people had to go register and couldn't get their cards and what have you. That's number one. And then number two, in a rush to get the NIA cards ready for the
election
registration of voters, they issued the card against the laid down standard procedure.
Okay.
What do I mean by that? When you register, you go through deduplication and data processing. Complete deduplication and data processing. You print your card is issued. The person you are giving the card to, you must take the person's biometrics and then match it and then segregate that data into a particular server that will be used for verification authentication of ID.
Okay.
At the same time, several processes occur because it's a multifunctional card that was designed. And a multifunctional card has segments for all these other institutions to host their own native applications and data for the purposes, and therefore will eliminate the need for them to print other cards.
Right.
Now, and that means it must have a key management system that ensures that insurance is not having access to your medical records, for example.
Okay.
Or DVLA is not having access to your passport information.
Right.
Good. Now, the key management system is quite an advanced one done by a company called Future in Germany.
Okay.
And it even runs on a PKI infrastructure, public key infrastructure,
Right.
system.
Okay.
Those keys are activated when that event of issuing is done properly. So
Very
now
well.
we have cards in people's hands with that particular activation that enables all these services. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, but I'm trying to find out the misimplementation here, because all of these things you've mentioned, which was supposed to be as it was from the time of the NDC, as you claim, is not different from what we are seeing now. I can only bet that I do not know too much about the database management system and the independency of it. Because that has not been indicated by the vice president. But for the multifunctionality of the card, that you and I can agree on, that the card that we have currently is a multifunctional card. In that, I beg your pardon, in that you do no longer need a separate card for national health insurance, for instance, and there are plans to also integrate other forms of cards onto the national identification card. How different does this come?
Well, first of all, I just mentioned two major issues that would more or less create a problem moving forward with all these integrations. And I told you about the fact that the insurance didn't go well, so you have a lot of cards. NIA has a lot of cards on their hands now.
Okay.
Which are not in the hands of Ghanaians. That's number one. Number two,
definitely.
I also mentioned the fact that even the crypto keys that allow these key management systems to work well is activated when you issue the card properly.
Okay.
Instead of you issue the card with biometric devices, where they take biometrics and it activates the key. The cards were given out as if it was some test papers that a teacher had finished grading and mentioning them and giving them out.
Right.
Without going through the standard process of issuing. This has nothing to do with the contractor who did the job.
Okay.
It is more to do with the fact that NIA, having recognized that the cards were not out,
Mm.
So to get a lot of cars out as quickly as possible, so keep the aspect of sending infrastructure down and issuing the cards properly, that would activate the card and make the multifunctional aspect effective.
Right. Well, Mr.
You
Griffiths,
understand?
yes, Mr.
And this
Griffiths,
will require a lot of money to cure.
right. Well, Mr. Griffiths, do you think that I mean, with I mean, some of the pronouncements that you've made, that the Ghana card idea and the hopes that are being banked on it makes the card an entire fallacy?
No, it's not an entire fallacy. A lot of work has been done.
Yes.
You understand? Registration, enrollment has been done to about 50 million people.
Yes.
Some cards have been issued. There's still some cards in the hands of NIE. You understand? Cards are in the hands of a lot of people. You understand? Not up to the number that have been enrolled, because there are some cards on their hands. So we are getting somewhere. You understand? The system, more or less has delivered some services. So the right to sell recognition services. That is, people going to the bank. Infrastructure must exist at the bank to be able to properly get the national ID card. And all that. So that we are somewhere, but we are not fully there. And the point I'm making is that we could have been very far off if some of these things were done properly.
Right.
Another big problem, which I was actually amazed to see Dr. Baumia, mention, is the fact that he is claiming that he is going to issue cards to Ghanaians who are born within a month.
No, he said by 4 years old. 4 years old, every Ghanaian child would have, by the time they turn 4 years old, they would have had a national identification number.
Number. Yes, that's what I actually meant.
Yes.
We will have a number within a month. He didn't say 4 years old.
Yes.
He said within a month they will be issued with a national identification number, which is
Okay.
the identity by way.
Right.
Identity management can be summarized in one statement. It is the registration of people going through the identification and data processing to a point where you give them one PIN number per person, unique to the person. That's all it is.
No.
The card and everything is just a carrier for the PIN number.
Why does that surprise you? You know that
Because
with a card, biometric features or data is taken, such as the fingerprint, and the fingerprint we have learned does not change and is unique to each individual. So if from infancy the biometric data of the child is taken, isn't that a more feasible way to ensure that these people continuously have their records being checked, updated on the database?
Okay, first of all, when you are born, your fingerprints are not mature until you are 6 years old.
I see.
That's number one. Number two, they can't capture your iris. You see a baby's eye is all over the place. They don't know where they are looking at.
Right.
You have seen that.
Right.
Okay, good. So your iris cannot be captured. So I don't know how they are capturing biometrics, but I'm assuming that they are just going to issue them the PIN number without any biometrics. That's my assumption.
Okay.
Which defeats the purpose of biometric registration, because it means duplicating and all the evils or ills of non-biometric systems come to play here. Now, let me also look at the birth and death registry. The birth and death registry is an institution that is mandated to register the event of birth and the event of death. As I speak to you now, their coverage is less than 50% for birth. That coverage is about 23% for death.
Yes.
Which was something that was part of the plan to ensure that they are all upgraded to a point where they become effective and linked to the national database. Now, what that cure is that it makes issuing cards to these children possible. But not in the current state of the birth. Do you know where the birth of death registry, their main office is now? Have you been there before? In those wooden buildings. These are the buildings that houses the entire data of people who are born in this country. You understand?
Yes.
Good. There were plans to move them away from that. Initially, we wanted to host them on the third floor of the NIA building. I think there was also other plans to get them their own building. Give them the necessary. Keep this with disaster recovery.
Right.
Also, there was a concept called the village notebook.
Right.
Which former President Mahama was so passionate about. The village notebook was a huge notebook that existed within the community. And people were backdated and they were actually, motivated to record all the birds within the distance before it is captured electronically. You understand? These concepts, gave some hope to birth and death registry to push the birth registration up to where it can effectively serve a national biometric database by making sure that people are born and they are inserted into the database, one. And also a more dangerous aspect is when people die and you have out of 10 people, 7 people are not being taken out of the database. You understand? Those identities will exist in the database, and people can use them for dubious means. If you understand what I'm saying. So you buy a very expensive Mercedes-Benz, but the oil that you need to change that oil to make sure that that car can travel, a year or two without any problems, that oil is not there.
Well,
You understand?
in information management systems, one thing I know is that there is frequent updates, and there are ways of ensuring that active persons would comply with the updates. Don't you think that with digitalization, some of these things, like the debt registration, because the card has come in to also help eliminate ghost names in several government institutions. I believe that with frequent updates, some of these things can be dealt with. Is it an entire impossibility?
That's not an impossibility.
Certainly.
It doesn't render the national database totally useless.
Exactly.
Like I keep saying, something has been done. But you see, it is an important part of a credible national database. A vibrant and efficient and effective birth and death registry system in the nation is more or less a prerequisite to spending all these huge amounts of money on establishing a national biometric system, which we are told is costing us $1.2 billion. Dollars. You understand what I'm saying? I don't think you would need even $15 million, $15 million or no billion, $15 million to get this thing accomplished by the birth and death registry.
Well, Mr. Griffiths, what do you think about the subsequent demand for biometric verification by some of the telcos, especially even after using the Ghana card to register SIM cards?
Well, first of all, the registration of SIM cards is a step in the right direction.
All right.
When it was done initially, and you see, I'm trying to be very, objective here. Yeah, when it was done initially, some of us had an issue with it in a sense that it was not running on any credible identity management database. So we actually indicated that it is going to be problematic because, the bank process, they have certain requirements, which will be rendered, not too useful, if it is not running on a credible database. Because if there's a weak link, that weak link, even if it's 1%, the people that you are trying to prevent from using their SIM card for dubious means, they will take advantage of that 1%.
Well,
so therefore, we actually indicated that the most effective way to do this registration is to work with the telcos during the registration period.
Okay.
At that time, MTN had about 14 to 15 million CDs as their budget for registration. So they had agreed to give it to us. And there were other telcos. In fact, it was even going to be more for MTN later on. But they, as at that time, that was their budget. And we were trying to tell them that, look, it will not be enough to do a nationwide registration and then give us realistic figures. And during our enrollment, we will have to come into contact with a person, pick his biometric and register his phone number. And by so doing, we can cut off that aspect of the database and ship it to you, to your service. And then all you need to deal with is continuous registration.
Right.
And we believe this is an effective way of doing the registration exercise. Because if you do it outside the mass registration, people can tend to be, doing all sort of manipulations to the system.
Right. Now,
the other thing also is that if you take the GPS registration, the way it was done, mandated by the NIA, that it is a requirement before you can register a person. They did not ensure that these things were captured accurately. People go and stand, excuse me to say, at the public place of convenience and take the GPS and send it. And they say there's no way of verifying that is his house or what have you.
Right.
So you find out that it will not serve the purpose for which we intended for it to serve. That is the KYC for the banks when you are dealing with customers. You understand? So it is more or less a white elephant that is not doing anything. It is not being useful in any way.
Mr. Griffiths, I beg to differ with you on this one. That there is no way of verifying that the actual location that the person has given, because the bank, just when you present, for instance, an ID card, they have a GVIVE system that they use to verify if the card is original or not. Now, the Ghana Post GPS is not, how should I put it? It's not to just one individual, but it's accessible by others as well. Are you saying that the banks do not have a system that they can enter these coordinates to check whether the coordinates is indeed relevant even to perhaps a peninsula or an actual settlement? Are you saying that there is no system at all?
I think we are talking about two different things. I'm talking about enrollment and individuals where they are mandated to bring the GPS coordinates of their residents. People go to the registration center before they find out they need the GPS coordinates of their residents. The same registration people will tell them,
all right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm saying that very dirty data has been captured into the national database.
Okay.
Because there was no way of ensuring that these things are done.
Okay. All right. Well, Mr. Griffiths, I would have asked the way forward, but in most of your submissions, you tend to propose the right way to have done what, and I'm very grateful for that. That makes the conversation even easier. I'm grateful for your time this morning. Maybe we should have a face-to-face conversation so that you can elaborate on some of these things as well for us.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, too, for having me.
Very well. So my producers will speak to you behind the screen. So that was Mr. Osei Kwame Griffiths. He's the Director of Information Technology for the National Democratic Congress. He has highlighted a lot. I don't want to go back to touch on them because he spoke at length, and where I felt like coming in with a follow-up, I did come in with, but entirely I'm more concerned about the use of the Ghana cards as e-passport, because this seems to make the headlines for the entire presentation. Ghanaians are believing that it's a good move. However, when you read, I mean, from ICAO, and you look into, the accepted regularities, you realize that Ghana seems to be the only nation churning out an ID card that would be an e-passport. And
That's
asking how can this be internationally accepted when we are only providing the card but not devices to read the card,
these
or
cards.
infrastructure, software to read these cards? What do we do? Maybe the vice president has a bigger plan of providing
Yeah.
software and disseminating it to other countries, and Ghana would indeed be the first country. Perhaps it's a proprietary software or system, what have you. I think we already have a standard, and it would have been right to.
It would be very, very beautiful for our name as Ghana if we would be the first country, in fact, to have a device, and then we are spreading this across for all other countries. It would have been a very, very good idea. I had to go and change my MTN SIM from the normal, I think, micro to nano last week, and I presented my Ghana card, and I was very, very disappointed when I was told that they can't read my card. So I had to present the voter's ID, and she showed me how she just, captured the voter's ID. She opened it and I saw it, and I was like, oh, I'm very sure there will be, because if it can be done for the voter's ID, I'm very sure it can be done for the national ID. It will be a little complex, but I trust in the Swami magazine boys. I know they can do something. So let me finish up on the Chronicle. All right. I wanted to finish up on the Chronicle, but I think our time is up for a quick commercial break. So let's just go. Let's do the flip. Go, come back, and then see what we have in store for you. So don't go anywhere. I know by now your coffee, either you've drunk it all up or your cup has turned dry. Whichever way it is, hold on. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Drink your coffee like
Welcome aboard the safest airline in Africa. With industry-leading safety measures to protect your well-being. The first in Africa to earn a diamond standard of safety. Offering a more contactless, safe, and seamless experience. Delivered with a smile by Africa's first fully vaccinated crew. Creating special memories that bring the joy back to flying, so you can continue making memories with your loved ones. Book your flight with RwandAir today. RwandAir, the safest airline in Africa.
RwandAir, fly the dream of Africa.
Announcements on Adoatv. Contact Adoatv for your general announcements, proclamations and publications, job vacancies, etc. at a very affordable rate. Call 050-92-57754, 020-9494-258, or visit our marketing desk at Stepwork premises. Adoatv, bringing good things to life.
Welcome back after that break. Either you have a fresh cup of tea, coffee, or cocoa, like the way Reginald does it. Hausa cocoa with some akala, and usually he does 5 akalas and 2 buffaloes. I don't know what you have served yourself this morning, but
the plural of akala is akala.
Akala.
I want to buffalize everything.
Hey, you're a
still I won't give you. You like asking for my coffee? How can you?
It's
take
5.
My coffee and leave my coffee
It's
for
5. 5. You could just spare one, right?
Well.
Okay. So I wanted to do a finishing on the Chronicle, or unless you want to do that for me, because you have taken my.
Don't be like that. Anyway, so let's quickly just dive. You did the front page, right?
Yes.
So you did the back page as well.
A little. I didn't go to the middle.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's quickly jump into the center spread of
Okay.
the Chronicle newspaper. Let's see what it has here. Houses built on ECG underground cables in Tema. Hey, whoa.
Rough.
So now, how do we deal with the cables? How do we deal with the cables?
The
Anyways.
house will become a transformer.
I didn't say this. Julia, please hold Julia accountable for that. Ghana Chamber of Shipping demands overhaul of shipping and maritime industry.
Okay, I have to catch you in there.
Oh,
We
yeah,
have
yeah.
the legal practitioner Amanda
Do that
Clayton on the line. Hello, good morning, madam.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on the show.
You are welcome and always welcome. And we want to touch a little bit on the the Honorable Francis Xavier Sosu issue. And I know that you have or might have seen across most of the papers. I have with me the daily and the New Crusading Guide here. Police drag Medina MP to court. Have you seen it? And if you have, what's your take on it so far?
Well, I have seen it. And my take on it is that unless the speaker, releases an MP, no one can really summon them to court.
All right. So yesterday there was an update from the Honorable himself saying that he actually came. I think he wrote on his platform that the police, as of then, had not charged him with anything yet. He didn't even know for what reason he was being summoned. And I believe that today's update tells us, states clearly these three key points that I'm trying to locate it here. Please give me the Chronicle. I think the daily. Sorry, hold on just a second for me. I want to get my facts right. Okay, so the police summoned him, charging him for obstruction of public way. That's one. Causing damage to other road users and also unlawful damage. I don't know if you've seen the video that was presented as an evidence or that perhaps is going to be used as an evidence against him yet. What would be your take, especially in comparing the video evidence to what the police is charging him with?
Well, my take on this is procedural. Because according to Article 117 of the Constitution, the police have a procedure to follow.
Okay.
They shall contact the speaker to inform him of what they want to do. The speaker will give directions, invite the parties, and discuss it before any such service can be served. And that's according to Article 117 of the Constitution. If we cast our minds back to January of this year, when Honorable Jusu and the others failed to appear for marching, to the Electoral Commission, they marched to the Electoral Commission. What they didn't appear, they stood on something, which was ordinarily, the speaker would have to be informed, because this is a member of parliament.
Okay. So we are saying that with this, the police did flout the necessary processes or the procedures for sending him to court.
Yes, because he's an honourable MP, and our constitution lays it out in terms of the procedure that has to be followed.
All right. All right. So what should Mr. Francis Xavier, or what do we as a public expect? What should we expect from the Honorable at this particular time with the serve and all that? Well, the suit and all that. What should we expect?
Well, is he NDC?
Yes, please.
Okay, well, he should consult his colleagues who failed to appear in January based on the same principle. Article 117, the speaker had not been notified and due process wasn't conducted before the summons was issued.
And with regards to the speaker as well, is there anything to expect from him with this particular sermon?
I don't know the facts too much, so I couldn't go into it. But
Okay.
if this honourable fails to appear, he would have a legal standing in terms of if the speaker hadn't been made aware and due process wasn't carried out before the summons.
All right.
Let me. This is Reginald. I'm speaking to. Thank you for speaking to us. By far, so some members of parliament have indicated that the IGP should be careful with the exercise of his power. I don't know what you think about this, but looking at the nature of banter that is going on between members of parliament and the Ghana Police Service, how healthy is this for the dispensation of the maintenance of law and order in the country?
Well, I think people are right to be concerned in terms of diplomacy is key, between the police and MPs. And I think the police should also, keep it in mind that power does change. Even if it looks like it doesn't, it will. Do you see what I mean? And so they are the only thing that stays the same, even if politics change. And so, if they commit certain acts now, and it seems quite aggressive, those acts can indirectly be addressed should power later be changed. And one avoids that by just being diplomatic in all instances and seeing if there's another avenue one can pursue before summoning. And if summoning is absolutely necessary, then that's after speaking, to the speaker, etc. But I do think that relations should be more diplomatically be handled.
Exactly. I believe so as well. Now, you are a lawyer, and I want to find out from you, is it necessary that if a person is supposed to be interrogated, to help in investigation, the person is taken or apprehended to the police station? Because I have seen in other jurisdictions where persons who are interrogated are even visited in their homes and a conversation had, and then perhaps whatever they give is taken on from there. Is it necessary to arrest a person before interrogation?
So that's the discretion of the police because they have powers to arrest. And at each instance, they justify why it was necessary to arrest that person. And if they do so for the wrong reason, then obviously the person who's arrested can challenge it. But the police do have wide powers of arrest when necessary.
Well, very well. Now, the Speaker of Parliament has referred the matter to the Privileges Committee, which has yet not brought its report on this one. However, the police has summoned by obtaining a legal order the Member of Parliament to court, and he's bound to appear on Monday. It seems as though the entire process is not properly ironed out, and we are seeing a power play between two major arms of government now. Formerly, it was between an organ, an institution of state, and an organ, which is the legislator and the Ghana Police Service. But now it's between the judiciary arm of government and the legislative arm of government. And like you said, diplomacy should come into play here. Is it even right, the channel that these arms and institutions are using in referring the matter to the public by using the media? Is it right?
No, it isn't right. I think when this happened in January, in terms of when those MPs protested, Honorable Lejusu, from what I remember, said that for the media to be used to more or less serve this sermon, etc., was just beyond belief. And that proper procedure had to be followed in accordance with the Constitution.
Yes.
And the police would have to first, address the matter to the speaker due to their name. So using the media and different things for things like this, it seems a little unprecedented, and it seems like something that's happening quite a lot in this government.
Well, are there any implications if lawyer Francis Xavier refuses to honor the invitation by the court? I'm asking this because this is not the first time that it would have been so if he refuses to honor the invitation. We've seen some members of parliament who have blatantly denied or refused to honor an invitation by the court. What could be the implication?
Well, again, should any member not honor such an invitation, it would be according to Article 117, in terms of if the matter is not reported to the speaker first, before the summons is issued, then they don't have to appear, like we saw in January, when all those MPs didn't appear, having been summoned for the protest to the EC. So maybe he should consult his colleagues and then look at precedent as well.
Well, just as many are saying, especially some members of parliament are saying that the police is overstepping its boundaries or abusing its powers. Would we say, or is it safe to say that members of parliament or the legislative arm is abusing its powers as well, especially in considering the fact that they are the lawmakers and most of these institutions like the Ghana Police Service is under the legislative, or perhaps the legislative arm has a lot of ways to perhaps change some constitutions of these institutions. Is the legislative arm in any way abusing its powers?
I think that ultimately, all these people are leaders. Do you know what I mean? And diplomacy is important whilst in position. And being diplomatic and trying to reach a resolution before it becomes a public matter is imperative. And so is the police using their resources in a better way. In terms of there's a lot of things going on in Ghana, there's a lot of things they could be focusing on. And I do think our parliamentarians also, have to be more mindful of how they speak. So with all this, it's about diplomacy. And for people to remember that when you're in a position of responsibility, then maybe how you would ordinarily behave, stops. And you remember the function of why you're there, be it police, MPs, etc. We need more women in power. And they'll do it.
Well, it's such an interesting way of chipping that in. It's not impossible. It's quite possible. You look at Rwanda, for instance, and you realize that women dominate the parliament. However, let's find out, Ms. Clinton, how do we ensure absolution? Or perhaps let me reframe this. There may not be any form of absolution when it comes to lawmaking. However, does these discrepancies and the back and forth indicate some weaknesses in our constitution?
Our constitution is very good. It caters for every eventuality, including this scenario, where it didn't have to be made such a public spectacle had they referred the matter to the speaker before the summons being issued. Do you see what I mean? So our constitution actually makes allowance for absolutely everything if you read it well enough.
Okay.
And if you interpret it, in a way that's beneficial to you, whichever side you're on.
Okay. One final question before I revert you back to Julia. And would it be appropriate to have, sessions between the judicial system, the legislative arm, to frequently sit down with other state institutions that are direct implementers or upholders of these policies or laws that come out of the legislative arm, so that there can be education and understanding of the laws to ensure that some of these back and forth do not occur.
Definitely, definitely. But then you would also expect when one gets a certain position, they would know this. You know, you would expect them to know these sort of basic things of like, when can you issue a summons against an MP? Are they privileged? And what is the exception? You know, going to the speaker, etc. So when you reach a certain position, you know, one should ordinarily know how summons are issued to different classes of people in society.
Well, Princess.
All right. So I think the final question here, and I would like to nail it down to just this one, a very simple one. If you were the police and you have already issued out your sermon at this juncture, and you get to know that the proper process should have been to go through the speaker, knowing that you have one working day left, is it possible to do that for damage control? With Friday still in the offing, can you still go to the speaker before the Monday?
Well, technically, if I was the speaker, I would say that you're having this discussion with me, having already issued a summons, which isn't the proper process. So perhaps the Friday deadline would have to pass, and then they do the proper thing. You know.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. She is a legal practitioner of the Clinton Consultancy, is a law firm, and she is lawyer Amanda Clinton. Thank you very much. Do have a blessed day.
You too.
All right, so it's certainly an interesting conversation with lawyer Amanda Clinton. She's thrown all of those legal conversations. So you can keep the chronicle for now. She's thrown the legal conversations into the charge on Member of Parliament for Medina, lawyer Francis Xavier Susu. And what she has indicated as well is that, I mean, in all of this, it will be right to play, you know, diplomatically through all of this. Because, for one, I am saddened that state institutions and legislators would take to the media to be throwing jabs at each other. Well, the police is quite subtle on that. They just, bring out their perhaps press releases or whatsoever. And yes, for some time now, the Ghana Police Service has been active on Facebook, disseminating information and keeping the public up to date with how far they're getting and how stringent their hands are on in dealing with some national issues, especially security issues. However, members of parliament and the manner in which they come out jabbing the police, some are saying that the IGP should be careful. I think that, it's out of order. Saying some of these things in the media space, because obviously this is like the members of parliament say the Ghana Police Service is an institution of state, whereas they are an organ of the state. And I think that when an institution is not functioning as it should, or perhaps there has been some discrepancies, it is only right and it behoves on the parliament who feels aggrieved by the attempted arrest of one of their members to just invite the institution, then perhaps, or perhaps if not, they're managers of these institutions. If you would write to them and express your displeasure and see how best both institutions can judge us, so that we don't throw mud in the face of our laws and make it seem as though our laws can be wavered around like that. Well, we're still having conversations here on AM Ghana. We're speaking about all of those pertinent matters. So we just look at the legal side, and if lawyer Francis Xavier Susu refuses to honor the invitation by the courts, there are implications in there as well. He himself is a lawyer, and I believe that he would not want to put himself in contempt of the court, because it is even more grievous for a practitioner to put himself in contempt of the court. Don't go anywhere. Myself and Lady Julia will be right back to have some more conversations after this break. Stay tuned.
Malaria nti abayi wo yejuma bono malaria defo ya o nti awo ahire ne customers ya wo ne se mami ya smart apa CB Malakio amma ne baya odi ko school she se aduane si beri market chi ni malaria nti a onti mi onia and na ho ema we mu biara to wo so we malaria test maybe wo mu a edra bedewa any CB Malakio yedinu na ne hahama na akeka bom asone so aye CB Malakio edra we so de anya no kra o aye tata she edra yi nyema apemfo abata wo ma wo manfo ene nkwada wo ni mfie dunia Suziana what would you with you FD ahwehwe saa ejedie nkrato yi mu agye atomu se eye
Welcome aboard the safest airline in Africa. With industry-leading safety measures to protect your well-being. The first in Africa to earn a diamond standard of safety. Offering a more contactless, safe, and seamless experience. Delivered with a smile by Africa's first fully vaccinated crew. Creating special memories that bring the joy back to flying, so you can continue making memories with your loved ones. Book your flight with Rwandair today. Rwandair, the safest airline in Africa.
Rwandair, fly the dream of Africa.
Announcements on Adoatv. Contact Adoatv for your general announcements, proclamations and publications, job vacancies, etc. at a very affordable rate. Call 050-92-57754, 020-9494-258, or visit our marketing desk at Stepwork premises. Adoatv, bringing good things to life.
CB makeup now. I'm correct. Why your best mankasa? That's it. You want oh, middle. You capsules back on CB makeup sauce. Missy CB makeup sauce and make a year. Yeah, you see men and women's capsules now. You knew the dada. And 1 year packaging I had the wow! What a packaging! CB men, any CB women capsules, no packaging is out. And you also no mood any bianza no akodo when pegi. Share a painful any about town man kwada no for. Any kwada won di fie dunie. Enka ho. Susanna. Ghana man be man tamase.
Dodo Afre 0247 111671 and 0246 578 750. FDA aje ejede nkato yato.
Well, welcome back from that quick break. We're still here, myself, Lady Julia, with the notoriously blessed gentleman Reginald Addy. I wanted to do something to his name, but
Do it, do
not
it,
mean
do
to
it.
me
It's
for
allowed, it's
gold.
allowed, it's allowed. Do it. Do
Reggie
it. Now,
Gold.
my,
Okay. Reggie
what?
Gold Addy.
Wow. Wow. Sasu is jealous. Wow. I like that. I like that. I like
Okay,
that. I
okay.
like that.
So,
Reggie Gold.
yes.
Never thought of that. Never thought of that.
Really?
Yeah, so it's official.
Hey.
Reggie Gold. Reggie Gold Daddy.
I hate to say me, I'm between sign.
Oh,
I'm
Chinese
almost
sign.
regretting. Reginald, I'm almost regretting. I'm taking it back. I'm taking it back.
I've already taken it. I've adopted it, so it's fine.
So
Thank you very much.
before we went on that break, we were still, I think we were still talking about the Francis Xavier Sosu. Hey, why do I always tend to omit their misters or the lawyers or the honorables? So honorable
It's allowed.
Francis Xavier Kojo Sosu.
Oh, so there is a Kojo.
Yes, there's a
What bonds
Kojo.
are Kojo? Monday
Monday.
bonds. Okay, anyways, I don't want to wade into day bonds and their characteristics, but
He's already smiling. We know. We understand. Go ahead.
well,
But be careful.
we'll continuously, look at all dimensions and views about his attempted arrest and now summoned to court. We'll be trying to speak to one of the members of the National Democratic Congress party, which lawyer Francis Xavier also belongs to, and find out their view and their support to the party member as well. So you're watching AM Ghana. You can join in the conversation here on AM Ghana by joining us on Facebook and sharing your thoughts and comments with us on Facebook at Adoatv Ghana. Our WhatsApp lines are also very active, so you can share with us on those. And in about that, let me quickly go through to see if we have a few messages. I said that I am not going to read any form of generic messages that are broadcasted. Let me see what this one from Kablavi of Pokwasi Benghazi says. It says that Dr. Baumia again, he must stop building castles in the air because we're tired of him. He has made a lot of promises in the past and hasn't fulfilled any one of them. Whether he will turn the ECOWAS card into green card or passport, we don't care about it. But he must give us a break about his public lectures. Why? If you don't want... Yes,
Some of it. I just wanted, on that particular one, when the ICT for NDC, right, that we spoke with earlier, he spoke about the e-passport thing,
yes, Mr. Griffiths.
not looking so. I think that looking at the lecture by the VIB, I think the only, if there's anything we can take away from that, is that it's being an e-passport. But all the other things he said were keynotes on it.
Exactly.
That I think Mr. Griffiths himself did highlight some of them. That
Exactly.
if you have the Ghana card, it will be easy to come, as in if you're in Germany or you are wherever, you can easily come back just using, using that with your passport as verification. So I don't think that, maybe the use of the word e-passport is what just takes, I don't think it should rubbish the whole claim.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you very much for that one. Now let me take this one from Amisko Spelele. Amisko Spelele from
Spelele.
Spelele. If you want to check.
No.
It's Spelele.
Just how
You
you have to stretch it.
Or you want to change his name.
No,
okay,
please,
I
please
understand
go
now. You are a name changer. So from Reggie Gold, you want to make Amisko Pelele, Spelele, Spelele, Spelele from Kaswa. Unquestionably, digitalization has come to stay, and no amount of propaganda from Sami Jemfi and his Buga Buga NDC can stop it. Nana Baumia saw it, liked it, and will implement it to improve Ghana's economy. Hashtag DigiTime in Ghana. Regards to Honorable Mavis Howard Compson and MCE, Honorable Anita Love Obo Emisa Amisko Spelele from Kaswa. Another one here, Mama G from Kaswa. So my Kaswa people are really watching. Kudos to you guys, and kudos to you guys. The Ghana card will also be used as e-passport and would be used to access about 197 ICAO compliant countries. Thanks to Mr. Vice President for this swift intervention. Guineans are grateful to you and your administration. With this, NPP will break the 8. Regards to Honorable Mavis Howard Combs and MC Anita Love Obo Emisa. Hashtag 2024 Hawa Twaso Sa Mama G Kaswa WO1. Okay. Hey, opinion 80 from Kaswa again. So, like I said, Kaswa people are watching. As for the charging the Medina MP with obstruction of highway and destruction of public property is a step in the right direction. The very people who are crying fix the country are the same supporting the lawless Medina MP. If he has nothing to hide, why don't he just show up at the police station for questioning?
Unfortunately, we have to hold on to that. Joshua Akamba is on the line. Yes.
All right. So let's speak to Mr. Joshua Akamba.
Mr. Joshua
hello, good morning, sir, and thank you for joining us on AM
Good
Ghana.
morning to your cherished listeners and viewers.
Very well.
And I hope you guys are doing well.
We are doing well by the grace of God. We hope that you're doing well too as well.
No, I'm not doing well.
Oh, honorable. Well, why are you not doing well? Share with us.
In any case, the honorable is not my name. I'm a comrade.
Comrade, well. Why are you not doing well this morning?
We are in a state of fear in this country. And it's scary. When your own president has been accused of state managing armed robbery attack, is scary. And I think that as a country, we should rather start crying and demanding for proper accountability of Sewa Bruni acquisition of President Akufo-Addo of sending a state armed robbery after her. And just not that, she actually went ahead to say she had to report this matter before the police. She brought up videos captured of Adoatv, who was fighting to become the MP for the people of Konkata-Manso.
Okay.
And this person, as we know, was once with the national security.
Yes.
So if the national security was used in this manner to commit a robbery, explained by the woman, well, you know, she said she went to the bank. She took money from the bank. And that President Akufo-Addo gave her 20,000 Ghana cedis. So coupled with her 60,600 million OT, coupled with it, and her passport and her phone, she was robbed by President Akufo-Addo's national security and also Adoatv orchestration and masterminding it. Don't you think we were in a serious state?
Well,
Fear?
well, so
where we know that there are a lot of armed robbery attacks in this country, where you remember the attack on the national security coordinator in Ashanti region, the attack on the judge of a court, social court judge, a pregnant woman. You remember the attack on Nanka Bruce at the Flagstaff House. You remember the attacks of unknown police officers who today we notice that they were not police officers but were sent to shoot at people Ayawaso was working. Similarly, in the history of this country, 8 people, including an 8-year-old girl, was shot during the days of elections. So are we not in a state of fear that by now we should be crying and asking for proper accountability?
very
Are you
well.
not sure that the parliament should be moving now to find out? Because you see, this allegation the woman made is serious, and we are not talking about it.
All right. Well, Comrade Akamba, the persons involved in this matter, like you rightfully said, have reported to the Ghana Police Service. So let's see what information the Ghana Police Service comes out with, and then we'll measure from there. Now, let's come to the substantive matter. How worried are you, since you speak about fear? how worried are you that a member of the party has been attempted to be arrested by the Ghana Police Service on 2 occasions but failed, and now being summoned by the court to appear on Monday, November 8th? I'm talking about lawyer Francis Xavier Sosu, Member of Parliament for Madina constituency.
I want to take this opportunity to commend Ghanaians and our party supporters in the Madina area. 2 times they showed that they can resist the oppressor, and they did. They resisted him being arrested the first time, just after the demonstration. They again resisted him being arrested again at a church premises. And this is not the first time that one of our members have been chased at a church service to be arrested. You remember lawyer Chachuchi Kaka? His first arrest was at the church. Most of our people that they arrested, they took them up from the church. It should tell you how the NPP pretend to believe in God, but they don't believe in God. But they read the Bible, they play with the Bible. This should tell you that the NPP don't believe in God.
Why? How? How?
When we all know that the ultimate keeper of our life, and the person that we should worship and thank, whether by Muslim, by the traditional worship, by Christianity, is to go to church and speak to your God, your Maker. And once you are speaking to your Maker, that is the time that you are being distracted.
But the same faith says that God is omniscient, which means that He is everywhere, omnipresent, which means that He's everywhere, and you can speak to Him even in jail. How does this mean that?
Let's go and collapse the holy service of God.
That's not what I'm saying.
Listen to me. I agree that the Bible says that God is omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent. I agree that. But again, the Bible says that where 1 or 2, where 2 are gathered, there I am in their midst. And that this place shall be called a place of worship.
But the Bible didn't outrightly say that anybody who has committed an offense and perhaps should be invited for questioning or interrogation to help in investigation cannot be arrested.
You see?
But you are playing by the Bible.
You can be cited for contempt this morning and put before the court.
Who?
What do you term as he has committed an offense?
I'm saying a person who is purported to have committed an offense and as such is the police wants to interrogate him or invite him to help him.
Invite him by going to pick him in the church. And that's why I said the MPP are not Christians. They are not Muslims. They don't believe, they are pretenders.
I see.
That's what I'm saying, that they are pretenders. They don't fear God. That is how come the men of God that used to talk. One President Mahama was in power because they freely could speak. They freely could air their views. Today, they have gone into they've shelved into their court. They are not talking. They've kept quiet. Somebody like this gentleman has made noise in this country. Lord Comey is walking free. Nobody has spoken. Let me to be the one who has spoken. You see how they will go noise. You know. So for me, I don't believe that the Nanado-led administration is actually clean when it comes to the worshiping of God. I don't think so.
But it's the same government that is pushing for the construction of the National Cathedral, isn't it?
I mean, why would they tell you that they were going to build the National Cathedral? Why did they tell you that they were ending it? That project will complete.
Okay, well.
Because God knows that they are not from Him. It is not. They don't believe in Him. That's why they couldn't even raise the money. They are telling you to contribute money to build it. But initially when they came, they said they were going to build it. How can you make a God a mocker? And don't you think that they are mocking our God? Don't you think so?
Well,
because God is not a beggar. You know that? So when you are building a house for the Lord, you don't do it and ridicule God. So they are rather ridiculing God. And that's exactly what is happening.
I see. Well, let's come back to the substantive matter. Now, let's look at the conduct of the member of parliament for Medina constituency. Now, when his constituents were protesting bad roads, joined them in there. However, many believe that he was playing contrary to his role because he was rather supposed to convey their consent and present it on to the House, which is why he's representing them. Was it right for him to have joined the people instead of taking their grievances?
The member of parliament joined his people.
Yes, in the protest.
And asked police for permission. The police gave them the permission. The police protected them. The member of parliament is an ordinary Ghanaian and a citizen of that community where he represents them as a member of parliament. Wherever they want to channel their grievances, he could as well be called to be part of it and to receive their consent and for it to put it forward to parliament. Is that right?
Yes.
So that is possible that the member of parliament was there to receive a petition, and I don't see where the member of parliament, where in the constitution it says that the member of parliament cannot be part of demonstration. Unless you can say that the members of parliament are not. How Reducer and Co did demonstration. We know we did the demonstration in this country. The MPP at that time led by Nana Akufo-Addo and Co. A member of parliament at that time, they organized demonstrations. Who arrested them? Tell the police that I've said that they have big tasks to do. By now they should be inviting. I've heard some civil society groups saying that the president is the only one who has an immune. The law again says that the president is not above the laws of this country. The president of the country, Republic, has been accused of robbery. I invite the IGP, Dr. Dampari, to go after the president because he's trying hard to fight the robbery. Now, a woman has come out with a revelation that the president has staged an armed robbery attack on her. That is a serious crime. Are you aware? Why is the president free? Why is Dr. Dampari not investigating that matter?
Okay.
But that should be investigated. That is what we want to know.
Okay.
Not the issue of demonstration.
Okay. No, we are talking about the entire issue of lawyer Soso Xavier. Now, do you feel as a party that perhaps state institutions are being used to intimidate the members of the party, as we are seeing in the two attempted arrests of lawyer Soso?
I mean, the NDC has always been under intimidation ever since we came into regime.
Even when you're in power?
When we are in power, the NDC gives its own out for us to be prosecuted.
Okay.
Is it not true?
Right.
We've done it several times. That is the NDC for you. We are law-abiding citizens. But when we feel that our rights are being infringed upon, we shall resist it. And that's why I first commended the people of Medina and Ghanaians who supported to fight against the oppressor. And that we shall keep resisting the oppressor till the right thing is done in this country.
Right. Well, Comrade Akamba, I believe that your eyes and ears are around, especially on the appointment of MCs. We've seen the use of military men whatsoever, and also some MCs having to pay bribe for their confirmation. What is your take on this?
It's dirty, it's barbaric. That's why I agree with my father, uncle, Dr. Nyauta Maklu. The first lawless president to ever be witnessed in this country is Nana Akufo-Addo. That is how come that once upon a time I told you that President Akufo-Addo is worse off than Adolf Hitler of our time.
How?
Because you see, yes, he's worse off than Adolf Hitler. See, everything that we are seeing in the Fourth Republic, every violence that we are seeing, the things that we haven't seen under Rawlings, the things that we haven't seen under Professor Mills, under Kufo, under John Mahama is what we are seeing with Dr.
What kind of things? Are you saying that under these presidents that you have mentioned, there were no crimes in the country?
How can you go to court? A person that you are accused of crime says that he thinks that you are biased. He thinks that you are biased. He goes to court. The court says that you accuse yourself, don't sit on this case. You still want to find yourself in that What are you looking for?
Well, Comrade Akamba, we will wrap up the conversation at this point. We're grateful for your time, and we hope that when we call you again, you would respond to us. Many thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
So that's the national organizer for the National Democratic Congress, Comrade Joshua Akamba, and he has his personal concerns on some national issues. Speaks about lawyer Francis Xavier, who says that they're also concerned on that aspect as well. But he feels that the state institutions are being used to subdue the NDC. As he says, they have been under such situation for a long time, from time immemorial, and he feels that this is just one of those. And so, well, let's see how this ends up for lawyer Xavier, who is a member of the NDC, and how the NDC also rallies support for their own. Ijoma, I don't know if you have any concerns on this very one.
No.
All right. So, well,
but I do have some messages from Facebook.
Let's quickly go through them, and then we'll go for a quick turnaround.
Okay, so this is coming from Kweku Nyako and also from Kaswa, American Town.
Yeah.
People
in Kaswa, you don't play with them. Don't play with them.
He says, I think Honorable Susu, the Medina MP, is not above the law, so let's allow the law to deal with him. Simple. Where from this blocking of the arrest from these minorities? Still, NPP is better than the NDC. He has his greetings there, of course, for greetings to the Honorable Mavis Hawa Kumsen and Anita Love Obo Emisa, MCA for Kaswa. I also have another one from Paulus. He says, good morning. This is Paulus from Kaswa, American Townhouse. Okay. The Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia, has announced that from the first quarter of 2022, the Ghanaian card will be globally recognized as the e-passport. NPP party is the best. I hope you guys have been listening to us. We want to see, the change, or at least a little education in some of your messages. Okay, I would humbly suggest that the VP must reshuffle his position with the communication minister, because I think he has indirectly admitted that he's incompetent for the VP position, hence the sudden shift in his position. In as much as life without Christ is full of crisis, lectures without action is full of bad faith. Wow. The incompetence at the presidency is at its all-time high, which is worrying. And the earlier we vote them out, the best. JM for Ghana. My regards to Dr. Nana Ama Brown Kluche. The last one I'm taking here is from Positive Change, Medina. The economy under President Akufo-Addo is suffering from a plague of rats and mice, and they still have Blofo. I used to like a kid. And they still have the courage to waste state resources to organize a forum to talk about digitization. How does digitization make fertilizer available to the farmers in the villages? That's question 1. 2, how does digitization reduce the cost of spare parts and fuel prices for drivers on the road? How does digitization have a positive effect on the dollar rate? And the last question is, how does it reduce the cost of maize, beans, gari, and other products? So what at all are they digitizing cause Ghanaians are dying of starvation? And this is from Positive Change. That is it for our Facebook viewers.
Well, so many thanks to all of you who have shared your thoughts with us on Facebook and on WhatsApp as well. We are grateful. Let's move away from that. Now, so we've been having this whole conversation about police arrests, and the speaker has spoken. He spoke, and the story is on the front page of the Chronicle.
Yeah.
Can we go without doing the Bible quotation from the Chronicle? Let me quickly take that one. Proverbs chapter 28, verses 13. whoever conceals their sins does not prosper, but the one who confesses and something then finds mercy. I can't find the words because that part is patched on the front page of the Chronicle. So read Proverbs 28:13 and maybe you will get it. Our Speaker of Parliament has spoken in the wake of whether police can arrest members of Parliament or not. As the Ghana Police Service plans to seek interpretation of Article 117 of the 1992 Constitution, and so you see where I asked Lawyer Clinton, wouldn't it be appropriate that lawyers and perhaps legislators come together, see how best they can educate these state institutions on understanding the laws so that when they are implementing them, they don't feel lost or perhaps go on a tangent that may not go well for both or all institutions. So there it is. As the Ghana Police Service plans to seek interpretation of Article 117 of the 1992 Constitution, mind you, Article 117 is that article in the Constitution which gives those privileges to the members, not immunity, privileges. They say immunity is a big thing. Okay. Which deals with the immunity from arrest and court processes against members of Parliament. The Speaker of the House, say again? No. The immunity here again is not about the immunity. I'm talking about the Article 117 in itself. Okay. It doesn't give immunity to arrest. It gives certain privileges, you know, when it comes to members of Parliament. And the manner in which they can be arrested is also stated in there. When you say immunity, it's more like, you know, immunity. Exactly. According to the Speaker, members of Parliament can be investigated and arrested, but constitutional process for making such arrests must be followed. It's right there. It's straight. Constitutional processes for making such arrests must be followed. The Right Honourable Speaker acknowledges that members of Parliament are not above the law. The issue is not that a member of Parliament cannot be investigated or arrested. So you see, they are not immune. The issue is the procedure to follow to investigate or arrest a member of Parliament. The procedure for causing the arrest of a sitting member of Parliament or serving a court process must be in accordance with the Constitution, he said in the statement released yesterday and signed by the Deputy Clerk of Parliament, Mr. Eric Owusu Mensah. So the statement, yes, we know why it was necessitated. It's all in wake. So Article 117 states that civil or criminal process coming from any court or place out of Parliament shall not be served on or executed in relation to the Speaker or a member of the Clerk to Parliament while he is on his way to attending at or returning from any proceeding of Parliament. So you get the thing. Now this is where the challenge is, because a member of Parliament only operates as a member of Parliament unless, I mean, just as the Constitution demands, a greater chunk of members of Parliament should be selected for ministerial positions. However, that does not rid them of the position of members of Parliament, right? And they are sitting members of Parliament, they would continuously play the role of members of Parliament. And so they will continuously go on proceedings. And you know that sometimes, even when Parliament is in recess, some committees still do meet.
So I was about to say that there are times that, well, for just the layman's terms, that Parliament vacates. Even then, you still have to be very careful with how you deal with them. How much more when their Parliament is in session. So you go ahead.
Well, so I mean, when there is vacation, let's put it that way. When there is vacation, there are committee meetings and all members of Parliament, if I'm not mistaken, or perhaps, I mean, I stand to be corrected, all members of Parliament belong to one committee or the other. Some even belong to 3 committees. And so almost every now and then, and committee meetings are part of those parliamentary, because committees were set up, you know, by Parliament to foster conversations or come to conclusions on certain matters. And we have strategic committees, you know, that have been set up. So one way or the other, they are always embarking on these activities. You get my point.
Yes.
And I wonder if visiting their constituencies is also not a parliamentary proceeding. I think that
It's in
it's
relation
also
to
it's
their
in relation
work.
to their work as members of
Yes.
parliament. And so I'm wondering at which time. Maybe it is only when they are at church.
If I had known that that is your conclusion, that's when you were driving.
I just said maybe. I'm thinking
Maybe.
about it and looking
Maybe.
at the nature of their work. You realize that they are almost always on their duties as members of parliament.
Okay.
Except when they are in church, they are playing the roles of ministers or congregants,
Yes,
what
I
have
get
you.
you.
But even in that, it could be a form of
Yes, but
their work
I'm,
as
I'm
members of
wondering,
parliament.
is this an issue that could not have waited for the right time?
What is the right time?
Yes, so the Speaker of Parliament has told you, no, you can't arrest them because there is this. So couldn't they just perhaps keep going to him for the advice? When is the right time? That question, I think, should have gone to the Speaker of Parliament. And maybe he would have told you, okay, I think there's maybe this and this issue when we have had a look at it, because I don't really see the emergency nature of this particular. It's not an armed robbery case. It's not. So I'm not really seeing the emergency nature of the issue where even the police, as I said, when they go to the event day itself, someone asked me this: do you know that the police was protecting, just as we heard the honorable, oh, he said he's not an honorable, Mr. Comrade, yes, say earlier on that the police were there to protect the demonstrators. So they protected them while they were doing the distraction.
Well.
And they were doing all that. That alone, you know, it incites some kind of answers from the public, and we will ask. So if it wasn't that destructive, or if it wasn't to that extent where should have been a ceasefire, a curfew, you know, it wasn't an intense issue, why then are we making this? And I liked one particular question that you posed earlier concerning, you asked, well, it's almost slipping off. You asked
I asked a lot of questions, so I can't really put a finger on what you're trying to drive at. But you can paraphrase me if you have an idea of what exactly
the
you
question
wanted
was
to
just
get
there. I
us.
was going to hit on it, and then it just. But let me just linger on
As you
this
take
particular.
cocoa, you say you'll be taking tea. This is what will happen. Take cocoa and feel free.
I don't know which Amelia you're advertising or Davi you're advertising for, but
you have no idea. But where I buy my cocoa, we use electronic payment system. So they serve you the cocoa 2 cedis, and then the code say. Sasu is asking why I drink cocoa 2 cedis. And found, but a big thank you to all of you for sharing your breakfast with us on the AM Ghana Breakfast Show. And we are grateful for your time. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have had this fruitful conversation. My name is Reginald Adi, and today, remember, it's Thursday, 4th November, and I've been asking you, how far have you achieved those New Year resolutions that you put before you from the beginning of the year? It happened on 31st December, and some of you even jotted it down, and you went to pray about it on 31st December. How well have you lived by that New Year resolution? I'm asking this because very soon you're going to have to make new resolutions, and would it even matter at all if you haven't achieved the previous ones? Let's start from somewhere, then we can definitely get somewhere. Many thanks to you once again, and many thanks to especially those of you who texted in and shared your concerns with us on Facebook and on WhatsApp. We'll see you tomorrow, but until then, Julia has a message for all of you.
Oh, my simple message is, whatever you do, make sure that love is the motive behind it. Changing the world, just one person at a time. So go ahead, go through your day using the only instrument, the only weapon, the only device, love. And laughter will surely meet you at the end of the day. Thank you.
We'll see you tomorrow with more conversations. Have a lovely day. Julia, I love you.
I don't love this man. He's too mean.